In Austin, I'm Quita Culpepper. 27 years after their arrests, a Travis County judge has now declared 4 men who were wrongfully accused in Austin's infamous yogurt shop murders innocent.
No ruling can restore the time taken from you. No judgment can fully remedy the burden that you have carried, but the court can and does state without qualification or hesitation that you are cleared and that your innocence is affirmed.
Judge Dana Blasey, Maurice Pierce, Michael Scott, Robert Springsteen, and Forrest Wellborn are now no longer linked to the 1991 murders of Eliza Thomas, Amy Ayers, and Sarah and Jennifer Harbison. Their families hugged, held hands, and some cried after the judge announced their innocence. APD walked through how they ultimately tied a serial killer to the crimes, and on the stand, families talked about how this case changed their lives. Prosecutors read a statement from Robert Springsteen in which he said his wrongful arrest and conviction turned his life into chaos, and he was branded a monster for something he didn't do. A representative for Forrest Wellborn echoed that statement, saying the case cost him the chance to build a life and start a family. And Michael Scott himself took the stand to say he lost his youth.
Every day I have carried the weight of a crime I did not commit. No court ruling can return the years and the love that were taken from me, but it can acknowledge the truth. I am not guilty.
To every person.
After the hearing, District Attorney Jose Garza issued a formal apology to the 4 men, saying he hopes the hearing brings them the peace they deserve. Scott's attorney says they accept that apology.
Mike Scott accepts the apology from the District Attorney of Travis County, and I can tell you this: we must learn from this and support organizations like the Innocence Project of Texas, because these things are still going on. We can't blind ourselves to that fact.
After the hearing, Amy Ayers' family said they never wanted anyone to be wrongfully convicted for her murder. In a statement they wrote, quote, "Today represents yet another painful chapter in this decades-long saga. As Amy's mother, Pam Ayers, has said, every time something happens in this case, it forces her to relive the horrific night of December 6th, 1991. Going forward, Scott's attorney says they are considering filing a civil lawsuit in federal court to seek restitution for these men and their loved ones. The UT System's Board of Regents approved a new policy that's getting a lot of attention in the education community. System leaders approved a policy that creates new guidelines for teaching controversial and contested subjects in the classroom. Reporter Daniel Perot explains.
Any opposed? That motion carries.
The UT System adopting a new policy requiring faculty to take a broad and balanced approach to teaching controversial or contested issues.
This ensures we enrich and develop our students into thoughtful citizens who are prepared to enter the workforce.
The policy states faculty have a responsibility to foster a welcoming environment for all views, mandating they fairly present different theories and scholarly evidence, allow students to make their own conclusions, and avoid controversial topics not relevant to the course material. The guidance says institution leaders should seek balance in their faculty bodies and curriculum to ensure students are exposed to various viewpoints.
Our institutions must make a principled determination on when controversial material is required for a degree in a field of study or is available as an elective credit.
The UT System's decision comes as public universities are under pressure from state leaders. Unlike the ones at other systems in Texas, the new UT policy does not explicitly ban the teaching of certain topics.
It's become much more hostile to teaching and learning.
Ravi Prakash is a UT Dallas computer science professor who spoke to us in his capacity as a private citizen. He worries about a lack of definition about what is controversial.
That can result in self-censorship by faculty. It'll have a chilling effect on what can and cannot be taught.
Prakash says it effectively limits the ability of faculty to even respond to student questions.
Faculty members will have to cut discussion short because they don't want to go into that territory.
As pressure mounts to root out what Republicans call indoctrination on college campuses, some professors are left wondering how this new policy will be enforced.
Students who pay significant amount of money to go to Texas universities will suffer as a result.
And that was Daniel Perot reporting. It will be up to the system's 14 universities to interpret this new policy, and it's not clear when it will go into effect. Austin is celebrating a historic cabin's restoration as part of Black History Month. The cabin is located in Rosewood Park in East Austin. It was originally built by Henry Green Madison shortly after he arrived in Austin in 1865. Madison was born enslaved in 1843 and later became Austin's first African-American city council member, serving from 1871 to 1872. The restoration improved the doors, windows, walls, and the roof, and also updated the cabin to meet accessibility standards. The Austin Parks Foundation provided $55,000 for this project and also received more than $376,000 in grants for it. Officials with the Parks Foundation say this makes sure the important cultural landmark is around for future generations. TxDOT wants to get more input on a project to prepare an 8-mile stretch of US 77 in Lee County. Daniel Gomez caught up with drivers earlier today and shares their concerns.
It's a long road ahead to the future of US Highway 77 in Lee County.
I take back roads, if possible, to avoid 77.
Kaylin Kaltwalser describes how busy Giddings is nowadays.
It's a lot of congestion,
And she wants change.
People are traveling from Austin or Houston, and there's already a lot of congestion. So now when you add 77 onto it, I just feel like it's just gotten a lot more chaotic.
It seems a little quiet here on this stretch of US 77 in Lee County, but TxDOT says that more cars have been coming up and down this corridor in recent years, and they suspect that more cars will be coming through here in the years to come. For years, Kellen Moorman with TxDOT has been tracking the pattern of growth.
We tend to identify problems well in advance and start studying them for solutions.
And that solution is to have work done on 8 miles of US Highway 77 from FM 2440 to State Highway 21. The key points of this project are to improve mobility, efficiency, and safety.
Medians do help because they create a separation between the directions of traffic on the roadway. But there are other improvements that we look at as well to reduce different kinds of crashes, not just head-on crashes.
Other proposed changes include adding lanes that help with entering and exiting the highway, also adding turnarounds along US 77.
I'm on these roads around here probably 4 times a week.
Nate Hartsock doesn't drive US 77, but he does deliver gas, and he's in favor of any changes that can improve road conditions.
I guess just barrage of bad drivers out there. It's very difficult to drive and navigate any type of road.
TxDOT had a meeting with the community back in 2023 and looks to finalize plans after its Thursday meeting. TxDOT is still a little ways away from breaking ground. In the meantime, the conversation with Lee County communities continues. Daniel Gomez, KVUE News.
And those are the headlines in Austin. I'm Quita Culpepper.